Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Gulfstream. Today, Ron Nicoletti along with Brian Nano. Boy, has it been a beautiful couple of days here in South Florida. We're starting the day with a fast main track, firm turf course, and of course, we've got the all-weather Tapeta. There you see the three surfaces on your screen if you are watching us on TV, and nice day.
It's beautiful. I mean, the humidity's down. We're no 90 degrees here, low 80s, and great day to come out here and shaping up to be a strong weekend, too.
Yeah, we got a nice stake race on Saturday, but we got starting this week already with this 8-rate card with a $200,000 gross jackpot guarantee in the Rainbow Six, which is going to start in race number 3 this afternoon. We got a couple of nice races in that sequence, so that's always good. And we got the pick 5 is going to start. It's already taking money, and I wanted to just mention that the Super High 5 carried over from the other day on Sunday, and there's about almost $6,000 in that pool if that's your ilk and you want to bet that. So with the first race today, this one's going to be about 5 furlongs on the Tapeta, claiming fillies 3-year-olds of 4 and up, non-winners of 3 in life. And Brian, you put an early pick 5 ticket together. Did I miss the 8 in here?
To be determined, right? But wow, she is favored right now. I thought she definitely hit hard, and we'll talk about it, but kind of an underlay as we speak now. So here's the sequence, $48, and as you'll see in a little bit, it's vastly different than my late pick 5. The spread is in race 3 with number 8, Anthracite. I admittedly struggled, Ronnie, to come up with a long shot. We usually try to go 6-1 or higher. I'll give you 5-1 here because I couldn't come up with one. Best bet of the day is La Ruja in race 4. I lose a little value with a couple of scratches in that race. And then here's another spread in the get-out leg, race 5. A really good maiden special weight on the Tapeta. I'll go with the Ronnie Spats first, or Freedom Speaks, in a race where you definitely have to pay attention to the tote board because there should be several firsters in here that you would think can run a little bit.
Yeah, I got some interest in Freedom Speaks in that spot, too. We'll get a stat. We're going to show you that a little later on. As I was talking, I didn't use the 8 on the ticket. I went with the number 7 horse, who's currently 4-1 in here, Phil Maurice, who's returning to the condition claiming ranks at the $8,000 level after stepping up and failing to fire. That was against 16 starter optional claimers, going 5 furlongs on the all-weather surface. It's Francisco D'Angelo, Sammy Camacho Jr. handling this daughter of Congrats.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, you got her on top, too.
Yeah, I do, absolutely. I think she's clearly the horse to beat. The class drop here is going to play. She draws well to be outside some of the inside speed for a barn that's doing good things. And, she's kind of back with her friends in here, and I think that's going to be big.
The number 6, Red Wind, is another drop into this level after tracking that pace. Faded to finish 5th in front of, actually, Phil Maurice last out for Fernando Abreu. Claimed her 2 starts back. And you're getting Junior Alvarado in the saddle today.
Yeah, there's plenty to like here. I mean, it was an aggressive rise off the claim last time. She didn't run poorly. She didn't disgrace herself by any stretch. Now she's back in, below the claim price, which is a little disconcerting, but probably just where she belongs. It's a race that came up. She's in for 8, and you said a Junior landing here, I think, is significant. It's noteworthy.
Well, you got to tell me about this number 8, Wow Tappet, who I backed off a little bit. But Amador Sanchez, a little cold at this meet, but what a good winter he had.
Yeah, that's a good point because this is a very, very crafty barn that has started the Royal Palm meet a little bit cold. But, another class drop, and this is a pretty stiff one as well. Nothing was going right last time. Bunny Not Beats has been in such good form. The race 2 back wasn't terrible, but now, she's dropping again, which is not ideal. But they only paid $7,000 for this daughter of Cairo Prince. It's not like they claimed her or anything, so they're not at risk of, losing out here. Just maybe, Ron, at the end of the day, this is where she's supposed to be. Now, 5-2 as I look over at the toe. It's very early, very early, but that would be an underlay. But I think she's a player in here.
Yeah, I was afraid of the drop to be that simple. But you mentioned Crafty Barn, and you make a great point, which I didn't realize that they only paid $7,000 for this horse. What about the 3, Hanny Penny, who's back in the Dan Hertak barn and back locally on the Tapeta after finishing 2nd against those 3 lifetime claimers? That was going 5.5. Of course, was on the Tampa main track. Edgar Perez handles the homecoming today.
Yeah, who had a hat trick last week. And I'll tell you what, Ronnie, if you just look at the Tapeta races, I know she didn't hit the board in either of them, but boy, they were good efforts with fast figures that would put her right in the mix. She was okay at Tampa on the main track, but she's back with Danny, who's had a very good 2022, and she's back on the Tapeta. Don't sleep on her at a nice price.
Yeah, she's up there at 9-1, but Once again, very, very early in the wager. We're going to see how things play out here in race number 1. Going to race number 2 starts the first of 2 pick 4s this afternoon, and it's also about 5 furlongs on the Tapeta. Starter allowance for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, started for $25,000 or less. No scratches in this race, and we'll start with Frankie's Girlie, you put on top, a Reclaim by Carlos Perez.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a horse. I think you remember this one. I've been waiting for them to run this horse one turn on dirt, please. But we're kind of sort of at least getting close to there because we're going to run her now one turn on the Tapeta. She's got okay Tapeta form. I think she's finally back at least sprinting. That's going to help because I look at that December 17th race, and with each passing day, it gets farther and farther and farther away. But I'm kind of stubborn with her. I'm going to come back to her. She should be a square price in a race where, I don't know, I don't really trust anyone in here.
Well, if you look the last time that this filly tried sprinting on this all-weather surface, she finished third for trainer Perez. And who was in the saddle? Jockey Luis Figueroa. That was back on November 14th.
Yeah.
So keen off that. I did go with the 5 in here. You got in second. Choose to be happy. It's going to race with the blinkers today. Without the blinkers today, after the pair of well-meant second-place finishes, includes that set the pace second against $32,000 starter. Optional claimers last time out for Ed Plesa Jr. with Junior Alvarado. I like the fact that they're taking the blinkers off, throttle down that keen early interest that she's shown, and you're getting Junior in the saddle. So I sort of thought this horse jumped off the page for me.
Yeah, I mean, Pete's got her 6-5 on the morning line, and it's tough to disagree with that because those last 2 races are just much better than this group. And boy, Eddie Plesa Jr. has been on an absolute tear for the better part of, about 4 or 5 months now. Junior lands here. The blinkers come off, so maybe we're just a tad more patient early on. I mean, she's going to be really, really tough in here.
The 3 Gray Charlottes wheeling back, chased the pace, faded behind Choose to Be Happy last time out. Just a horse I thought can grab a share in here.
Yeah, she's not impossible. And, like you said, she wasn't that far behind Choose to Be Happy last time. If you're just thinking outside the box a little bit, she's going to be a square price. So, yeah, you could do worse. But, again, I think the race clearly goes through Choose to Be Happy.
Well, we're going to take a short break here, early break. And when we come back, we'll have my Rainbow 6 ticket.
And they're off. Second in the 2-path. Round off her inside. Race. A quarter of a mile to go, and he's 6 yards out. Last of the 12 as they roll into the backstretch.
Welcome back to Gulfstream today, Ron and Brian. Third race is going to be a nice one, maiden special weight, going a mile in the 16th on the turf, and a full field of 9 to start the Rainbow 6 this afternoon. Let's look at my ticket, $43.20, and I like this race today. I did go with Stat, but I used Engines Ready. We'll talk about that race in a moment. Race number 4, I am in agreement with you with La Rusia. I think this horse going back to the all-weather is going to be a kick in the pants, but I used Mongolian Mission just to save myself in there. Race number 5, just 3 deep, and I know you went deep in that race. I ended up with Freedom Speaks on top 2. Race number 6 this afternoon, 3 Yes I Am Beast, Felix, and Octozingo for Fausto Gutierrez, who's like 43% with that surface switch. And then in race number 7, a lot of people might be singling the number 3 Complex System, but I used Seize the Hay on the ticket, the morning line. I faded the morning line, and they're the 4 Poppy's Boys. And in the last, I think the race goes through Eternal Flame, the 5, but I use Quite Ready. This one is, if shipping down from Laurel, I think has a shot this afternoon.
I'm with you. I like some of these. There's some prices in there. There's some horses you can probably lean on. You mentioned La Ruja is definitely one of them. So, but $200,000. It's growing quickly. It's going to be a big pool. Take a stab at it because it's now starting to get to the time where there's some money in there to be able to fire onto it.
Well, as I mentioned, this is 1 mile and 1/16 maiden special weight 3-year-olds on the turf. And I did go with the number 7 Staten. Here's a gelded son of Will Take Charge, who's debuting on the turf. I thought I had a game outing last time out, albeit this is going to be on the Tapeta, but I wanted to show you this horse. I'm going to pick it up at the top of the stretch with the number 4 Stat here. Sort of gets bopped around between horses here and has to steady. And I thought that this, took some of the starch out of this horse early on. He was trying to get through, you see, actually got bopped around. But what I liked about this horse, when you go through the stretch, you're going to see this horse fight back after losing that momentum and finish second in the race. Of course, it's Sammy Joseph Jr. with Edwin Gonzalez handling the surface switch today. Not the greatest of angles for Sammy Joseph Jr., but I thought this horse showing this is what sold me on it, coming back and finishing second.
Yeah, and you pick up Edwin. I think that's a big deal. You're right, though. Somewhat shockingly, 7% Safi on the first-time turf angle, but we're lightly raced here. A son of Will Take Charge, the Scat Daddy on the bottom of this pedigree says turf is definitely in there. So I think there's plenty to like about Stat. You know, we've said it time and time again, Ronnie. If you can handle the Tapeta, in theory, you should run pretty well on the turf.
And I had some interest in your long shot here. I actually have a little further down you do. That's Anthracite, who's looking for clear ceiling. She got bumped soon after the start when finishing 4th at this 11 for Joe Orsino. Sammy Camacho Jr., it's a son of Arrogate.
Yeah, she definitely had a trip. He definitely had a trip last time. It didn't really work out. It was his turf debut. Only second start at 2 turns, only third lifetime start. I think we can build. Sammy Camacho Jr. aboard last time, sticks around too. So I think, like you said, with a cleaner trip, I think he can be right there. I admittedly struggled to find a long shot today. This one doesn't really qualify, but you should get fair value regardless.
The number 9, Engine's Ready, is hoping to get away from the gate in a timely fashion today after braking slowly. Then the horse closed to finish 5th against those 40 maiden optional claimers. It was going this mile in the 16th distance on the turf. I mean, it's Mark Cassie, solid with maidens making their second start, and he readied this son of Hardspun for this assignment. Got that bullet half-mile gate work.
Yeah, this is the horse you need to take note of in here because that was a merry-go-round on debut. The winners ran 1-2 the entire way around. Well, here's this guy closing from 7th to be 5th. Beaten just 2 lengths. We've got a big live oak homebred pedigree here. You mentioned Cassie and Amicia Jaramillo. Second out, we had that big bullet prior to debut. So I think this horse can run, and I think this is one. Don't leave this one out of your rainbow.
Well, let's flip the page and go to race number 4 today. It's going to be about 1 mile 70 yards on the Tapeta, which is key for La Rusia. Claimers, fillies, 3-year-olds of 4 and up, non-winners of 3 in life. Did have 2 scratches in here of the number 3 Playa Occlusion and the number 8 horse in here, Mangrove Mama from David Brownlee's barn. And you have your late pick 5 ticket together.
Yeah, this won't take too much time, and it's a shade of what the early one was. $8. We'll single off the rip here. The spread is in race 5, okay, with the top pick being number 5, Freedom Speaks. Also, that's the tough maiden special weight on the Tapeta with a slew of first-time starters. You get the benefit of that race being the second part of the double from race 4 to race 5. Take a look at the will pays to give you an idea to kick off the late pick 5, see who's live in taking money. Some of these firsters should be able to run. Race 6, I'll just Dutch the 2 heavy favorites. Yes, I'm a beast. And Felix, race 7, the late double, 3-4 in order. Complex system's going to be tough for Mr. Louis Russell, but I did use Poppy's Boys as well. And then the single in the finale, I think, is clearly that number 5, Eternal Flame for Zerpa, getting back to a sprint on the Tapeta. That is the definitive race in here, 2 back in January, to give him a huge chance to beat a field that he looks better than.
Yeah, Junior Alvarado in the saddle there. Talking about La Rusia, who crushed this level on the Tapeta in the first start after the claim by Liz Dobbles. Let's go back. We're just going to pick it up from the top of the stretch home when she clears, just draws off and wins for fun. Just a little window dressing here to show you this is how impressive it was. And as I mentioned, first off the claim, it was against these type of horses, $8,000, and ran well in here.
Yeah, I mean, this is a powerful effort. You just look at the Tapeta races. We've got a trainer stat coming up next for Liz Dobbles, who's just really prolific with these Tapeta routes. She's just laughing at this field here. The 2 scratches take a little bit of value value out of the equation here. Let's take a look at the stat. These are just simply Tapeta routes at Gulfstream. 7 of 29, 24% with a 231 ROI. To me, Ronnie, this horse is maybe Mongolian Mission is favored, but it's probably a flip of the coin. I would think La Rugia is something to 5 in here on the return to the Tapeta after that. You see that race there. Boy, she was just so good.
Talking about the 2 Mongolian Missions debuting on the Tapeta at this $8,000 level after returning from the layoff. She used her tactical speed to defeat those 12-5 condition claimers. That was going 7.5 on the turf for Mr. Mike Maker. Paco Lopez going for 2 in a row. You got good connections here. You got Paco, you got Mike Maker. I can understand this horse taking money, but I'm going to key off that La Rusia race too.
Without a doubt. And, Mongolian Mission is fine, and it's Paco and Mike Maker. Paco getting the frequent flyer miles. He was named at Parks the other day, so he's up and back. And but this horse is kind of slow on paper. I know maybe the figures on the Tapeta can be a little tough to trust, but boy, I'm not sure that this one's run a race yet that's getting to La Rugia, especially that last race on the Tapeta for this barn. So yeah, I respect her. I could have Dutched this ticket, made it $16, but I don't really think you do yourselves any favors by using them both. I'm all La Rugia in here.
The number 7, Emma and I, is another one going to try these $8,000 types on the all-weather surface after back-to-back. I thought well-meant second-place finishes against 12-5 claimers on the turf. Antonio Sano, snake bit. He's a good trainer. These horses figure. What I liked about this horse, besides Junior Alvarado, has run well on the Tapeta. He's a winner, had 3 starts, a win, a second, and a third. I think maybe today this one can get going.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. And the class drop figures too, but I just think, listen, Antonio, you said he's a very good trainer, and he's going to run a horse in the Preakness, and Simplification was a bang-up 4th in the Derby. But right now, the horses aren't winning, and you just kind of got to fade this barn. It's going to click sooner or later, and he's going to go on a tear, and he's going to win races in bunches as the horses start cycling back through their conditions. I don't know. Right now, I just got to take a wait-and-see approach.
As we mentioned at the top and a couple of times, the 5th race today, really nice race. It's about 5 furlongs on the Tapeta. It's maiden special weight filly, 3-year-olds. Just going to scratch the inside horse in here, number 1, Talking Tipsy. Also got 8 runners in the field in here. And both you and I went with the number 5, Freedom Speaks, who's debuting for Ronnie Spatz. Lasix, solid 5 furlong workout showing on the Tapeta. I sort of like that angle. Not a lot of guys do it. The barn, we know he's pretty good with first-time starters. And you're getting leading jock Miguel Vasquez in the irons.
Yeah, let's take that a step further with the first horse. Take a look at a trainer stat here for Ronnie as well, and it's solid. 11 for 56, big ROI. Dirt sprints at Gulfstream the past 5 years, or sprints, that should say, excuse me. So, it says that this horse is ready to run. Miguel Vasquez, they team up to 21% together. We've got a slew of works, you said it, on the Tapeta as well. 5th full out of the Dam. The Dam was 1 for 5, but she won on debut. Half to Spite Store, 3 for 11. 144K in the bank. So everything is there to say this horse can run well. Also, Ronnie, too, I think this is significant. They paid $145 for this Daughter of American Freedom just a few, not too long ago as a 2-year-old in training sale. I would think she's ready to roll again. Tab the tote board here, late pick 4 time, second race in the late pick 5. You need to see who's alive and taking money in the race where there's several first-time starters, and we're going to talk about them, that should be taking money.
The number 4, Pachita, is the daughter of Anico, debuting for Jorge Delgado, and he's 26% with his first-time starter, going to get Lasix. Jose Morelos is going to jump aboard. Good percentage here with his first-time starter.
Well, not only that, but he's 24% with Jose and a 239 ROI. So there's that. That works too. The Dam was 3 for 6, earned $155,000. Won her first 2 starts, so you would think there's some precociousness there. 4th full out of the Dam. The other 3 weren't that much, but there's some works in here, to, no pun intended, to work with, because a few of them are pretty snappy.
What about the 7 here that you used with Paco Agunash for Murat Sankal?
Well, you just said it. Paco's here. Now, this is a turf family. The Dam, 4 for 15. She won our Grade 3 Very 1 on the turf going long. Did win on debut. Everything in her PPs was turf. 9th fall, a half to King of Spades, almost 500,000. Again, turf. So I do think it's significant. Paco is here. I just maybe wonder, let's tab this one today and look for a turf race second out.
The number 3 horse in here to use a little further down. I had a third Rocket Sisters, the daughter Jaff Mill by Distorted Humor, debuting for our leading trainer, Saffy Joseph Jr. Lasix and a slew of Palmetto workouts showing in preparation for her first start. And Junior's here, so maybe they're trying to tell us this horse is live.
Well, you said it. It's Saffy and it's Junior because nothing else really points to this horse. I mean, Saffy's 14% on debut, solid enough, but everything he does is about a quarter. So, here's one of the times you might want to beat him. The dam was 0 for 8, 7th foal out of the dam. A couple of them, this is a full 2. A couple of them did earn over $200,000. I just always think with Saffy, yeah, he's going to pop a little bit. He had to have to Republique, to have to Rombauer, that one on debut. To me, I'm willing to fade him just a little bit with these debut runners.
Well, let's go to race number 6 this afternoon. It's a 6 furlong allowance optional claimer for 3-year-olds. The optional claiming price, $75,000. It is the feature race of the afternoon. Scratch the number 1 horse in here, Happy Cajun. And boy, well, let's start it off with your number 5 horse in here, Felix, who's the son of Cupid.
Yeah, I mean, lightly raced, and I just think being outside the obvious horse to beat, Yes, I'm a Beast, is beneficial. We do have to face winners, but boy, again, it's Ralph Nix who's just having a huge 2022. Here's Junior. This horse looked good, adding Lasix, breaking through last time. We've got a world of upside. He seems to be going forward. And other than Yes, I'm a Beast, I just think Felix is clearly the main danger.
Well, Felix, if you look at its debut, was second against a good horse in there that we know, Dean's List, who won a stakes. Then you look at the last race at 7 furlongs, produces a couple of next out winners. That horse, Creative Minister, won a maiden special weight at Keeneland just recently, and the other one was Mendenhall, who won a maiden special weight race right here at Gulfstream Park. So turning back to the 6 furlongs today, I think is really going to help that horse.
And by the way, I just not to cut you up, a Creative Minister who he beat last night comes right back to win at Keeneland, comes right back to win at Churchill Downs. I believe we're going to talk about him running in the Preakness.
So that's right, Creative Minister, that's right. So look at that. So good, keeping good company. The number 3, Yes, I'm a Beast, is certainly lived up to his name when using his speed to win 4 of his last 5 races, including his last when he defeated a pair of next out winners for Rohan Crichton, who's going great guns. And you get MSCL Jaramillo handling the jump up today to the $75,000 level.
I mean, Rohan, you can't go wrong by playing him, and you can only go wrong by playing against him. And this horse has just been, what is this now, 4 out of 5 for this horse, and the only miss was a really good third 2-back. He's fast. He's fastest early. The big figures, I mean, clearly this race goes through him. The question is, can anybody run with him early to maybe soften him up? Because Felix is well drawn. He's got the speed. I'm just wondering if Junior says, you know what, Yes, I'm a Beast is the horse to beat. I'm taking it to him early. We'll just see what happens late.
Well, the number 6 horse I want to mention here is Octozingo, is a half-brother to superstar champion Latruska. Stepping up, returning to the main track, pressed the pace last time out and drew clear to break his maiden. That was going 5.5 on the Tapita. Fausto Gutierrez is a whopping 43% winning consecutive races, and you're getting Paco Lopez handling the surface change. And every time I leave this guy out, he comes back and he wins. He's been right there with all his horses talking about Fausto Gutierrez.
I mean, here's the thing. The horse was absolutely terrible in 2 dirt starts, so you kind of say, I wonder about that. But he also was 24 and 57 to 1. Fausto gets him to the Tapita, and he blows way up. Well, just maybe he's a better horse now. Just maybe he's finally figuring this game out. We know Fausto's not a guy that's going to win a lot with first-time starters. Then he caught slop on the dirt, 2-back. So you could kind of just view him off the Tapita race. Now he's back on dirt. Listen, there's races for this horse on the Tapita. The fact that Fausto brings him back on the dirt says to me, you know what, I think he can handle it. Certainly he's bred for it. You're going to get a square price on this horse too, Ronnie.
Absolutely with them. But, you're getting Paco in the saddle today in that 5-horse field. Going to be interesting to see how the pace plays out if someone runs with the 3-horse in there. Race number 7 this afternoon. We're going back to the turf about a mile, about 7.5 furlong starter allowance for 3-year-olds and up. Started for $16,000 Les got the scratch of the 6 Back Chat and the 7 Bella Future. And we both have the number 3 Complex Systems, who's a previous winner here, going around 2 turns on the turf. And that's the race I wanted to show you now. It's back in July. This horse has been sprinting into fairgrounds. I wanted to show you how well this is. And don't forget, this day, won from post 11 and did all the work, set all the pace in the end, ran exceptionally well for our buddy Louis Russell. I just thought it was a bang-up race. And the point I wanted to make, that this is going around 2 turns, which is going to happen today.
Well, it is a good point, Ron, because, I mean, the DRF is going to tell you Mr. Louis 1 for 14 with turf sprints. This is no turf sprint. We're going 2 turns. I mean, they need to fix that stat. I don't want to get on my pulpit here, but so just, disregard that stat. He's not 1 for 14 in turf sprints, and I'll take it a step further. Let's show the trainer stat here when he rides a ECL, and it's a small one, don't get me wrong, but he's 4 for 8 with a giant ROI, turf routes right here, and the replay's perfect, as Ronnie shows, because you look at this horse and you say, oh, he's a turf sprinter at fairgrounds, that's fine. No, he runs huge here, routing on the turf right here with Hyro aboard, so complex system. The race clearly goes through him, and we've talked about it briefly, but you're going to start seeing Mr. Louis' name in the entry box, and he came down here 2 summers ago, and ever since he did, he's just winning at a huge percentage. You just have to take note anytime you see this barn.
And maybe the 5-year-old tipped his hand with that 3 furlong bullet in 35 flat, so running well, and complex system, Louis Russell. I wanted to ask you this. You spent some time at the fairground.
Yeah.
What is the 17 optional claimer compared to our 16s or?
It's a good question. I don't think there's a big difference, to be completely honest with you. I think those races can be a little watered down, to be quite frank. So I don't view this, it's not a rise. I think this is, a 16 starter. You can get some tough runners in here. So I think it's a lateral move, to be honest with you.
Well, the morning line favorite you have in second, Poppy's Boy, is Change of Barnes going to the Cesar Figueroa barn after that claim and going back to the grass today.
Yeah, I didn't realize this horse was favored. This barn does very good work. We don't know a lot about this barn, but you see it right there in front of you, 3 for 7 off the claim with a very, very limited sample. The turf races, you got to dig a little bit. They were very good with Cheryl Weinbaugh, and then ironically, this horse has pretty much been doing the Tapeta thing. Now, the turf race 2 back, wasn't that sharp for 20, so we've got to get back. But, he did run last time on the Tapeta and ran very, very well. I think he's the main danger to complex system, but you give me the 3 all day before the 4.
The number 2, Sees the Hay, is turning back to the about 7.5 furlongs on the grass today. Surrendered that late lead when finishing second against those 20 condition claimers. That was going a mile in the 16th on the turf for Carlos David. And you get Junior Alvarado in the saddle again. I think maybe the little cutback will help this horse today.
Yeah, I agree with that. And this horse has got decent enough turf form. He hasn't quite gotten to the level of a complex system or maybe even a Poppy's Boy. But if if you want to go a little bit deeper, Sees the Hay, you get good connections. Junior is here. I mean, he rode this horse last time, put him in the race early. I think that's a good spot to be on this turf course.
Definitely. Let's go to the final race on the Thursday card. About 5.5 furlongs on the Tapeta Maiden Claimers, 3-year-olds and up. You had your single in here of the number 5, Eternal Flame, and I agree wholeheartedly that this is the one to beat.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt. I mean, let's just draw a line through the route last time on the Tapeta. Now he's back sprinting. The drop is worrisome. There's no doubt about it. He hasn't run since late February where he didn't fire at all. But, boy, you look at the Tapeta race 2 back, sprinting for 50. We've got Zerpa. We've got Junior here. Everything just points to this horse. And the race he comes out of, yes, he didn't run any at all. But, Treasure King comes right back to win. It was a live race. And no disrespect, Ronnie, to the rest of this field. If he runs that race 2 back, he might lap this field.
I used the number 7 in second, Quite Ready, stepping up to this level. Shipped down from Laurel into the Jorge Delgado barn. Finished second against those maidens, going 5.5. It was on the all-weather Tapeta. Jose Morelos in the saddle today.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. If you're a figures player and you look at this horse's form, and we know how good Jorge is, taking horses and improving them. I think he's about 32%. He didn't really get any improvement out of this horse. So while I think he probably can build on that Tapeta debut, I still think they're all looking up at a horse like Eternal Flame if he can get back to that race.
And what about the number 6, Futuristic?
Well, it's Ronnie Spatz on debut. We get Vasquez here. And again, not to beat it down, but other than Eternal Flame, who in here in the afternoon's done any real running? So if Futuristic, can he run a 50 buyer on debut? Well, that puts him in the mix here.
The number 3, Astro Rug, goes to the Rohan Crichton barn after the claim. Chased the pace, finished third behind aforementioned Quite Ready. The barn, you know how good this horse is with first off the claim, 43%. And he's got a bullet half-mile drill in here for 47 flat.
35 horse sample, too. This isn't just like 4 for 10, 43% from a 35 horse sample. The ROI is basically $4. So, Elsa Morrison rode this horse very, very well last time. She's going to stick around. We get a weight break, too. We know how good Rohan is, so you've got to at least give this horse a look.
I just want to mention one horse real quickly, and that's the 2 Frosty Breeze, because this one is now in the Efren Loza Jr. barn. Drops face tougher up on the Woodbine Tapeta. If you've been down here in South Florida over the years, when Efren Loza Jr. comes back into town and has a horse, give it a second look, especially if you're betting those tries in Supra. I think he's worth the flyer at a price.
Well, there's no doubt about it. He hasn't run a horse this year, but you look at the stats, sprinting, he's 5 for 13. Maiden claimers, he's 4 for 9. Off this elongated layoff, he's 2 for 3.
Yeah, so you always got to watch Efren Loza Jr. With that said, that's the 8 races, but we're not done. We've got our lightning round. Take it away.
Yeah, we got a lot to do here, and first and foremost, we didn't look at the standings last week with such a big week. Let's take a look at them here, and probably since we last left you, Miguel Vasquez is streaking now, got his 1,000th career win, and he's just taking off.
Yeah, 28 wins, and MSCL Jr. Off a few days there, and now he's back. He was around the country, so 22 wins, and Paco with the freaking flyer miles.
Yeah, so that's your top 5 there, and the top 3 are going to be going at it for all summer long. That's exciting. Here's Safi and Rohan Crichton not starting as many horses, but boy, oh boy, is he hot, huh?
Yeah, 12 wins, and Rohan, like we said, just amazing. Victor Barboza right there. And these are the names you always say. How about Peter Walder? He's 50%. He's 7 for 14 at the meeting.
It's amazing. The less is more angle for Peter. And Kent hasn't started as many horses either as the top guys. So the barns that are picking their spots are doing very, very well.
And we had some really nice horses run on over the weekend, and one of them was Grand Avenue Girl.
Yeah, for David Fox, who's done such a good job taking over, and for Bob Edwards and E5. And, this was just a tour de force. They let her walk early, and there was, 3 to 5 was easy money, if I can quote Pete, because they were never catching this one when you let her walk like that.
Yeah, and we got the just a great performance by her. What else we got? We got that whole Beholder. Beholder and Tepin.
Yeah, Beholder and Tepin, and congrats, the Hall of Fame of 2022. And I'll never forget, I was just standing on the apron at Santa Anita watching these 2 gals throw down Beholder and Songbird. Who won it? People still think this is in question, but man alive. You want to go out on a high note, Ronnie? You do this. She was a Grade 1 winner at 2, 3, 4, and 5, and it took me about 1.2 seconds to check the box when I voted to Beholder in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, what'd you do with Kona Gold? It seems to be
I did vote him. Yeah. I had a Jay Privman swung me a few years ago. I didn't initially vote for Kona Gold, and then I got to looking, and there's only, I think when Kona Gold was running, there were 4 Grade 1 races for sprinters. One of them was the Breeders' Cup, which he won. So if you're not voting for Kona Gold, I'd say go back and give it a little look again.
Boy, is the Preakness going to be a fantastic race. We're getting some really nice horses already saying they're going to run.
Yeah, here they are here. And, obviously it starts with the Derby winner, Rich Strike. Here's the Oaks winner. Secret Oak is running for D. Wayne. Obviously, Epicenter runs huge in the Derby. Maybe we see Zandon. Chad Brown's also got early voting, who's second in the Wood and skipped it. There's Creative Minister, as we mentioned, who's streaking for Kenny McPeak. He was at Steam Horse here on his debut. So, obviously, simplification, our buddy here, and he ran so well for Antonio in the Derby. And, it's a good segue, too, because Pimlico opens today, and it's great to see that. And there they are alive and ready to roll. So lots of excitement. I know you're invading, too.
Yeah, I'll be there next Thursday for my yearly visit up there. I do the early morning shows there. It's always a lot of fun, and I heard the weather is going to be fantastic all through this week and next week. So good luck to all the folks up there at Pimlico on opening day.
Yeah, without a doubt. Will they be waiting for you like at the airport, like the Beatles kind of
Right.
thing? You know,
Yeah.
you're rolling into town or what?
Yeah. No, we'll put it that way.
We're going to we'll hit you with a shovel for the next 2 weeks because you got to get your Preakness tickets. We're going to keep reminding you, go to the website, go to anything we've got, just click on it, Preakness.com, all that good stuff. The tickets are available.
Yeah, and it's just a great weekend. It's my favorite leg of the Triple Crown.
I mean, without a doubt, it's such a fun, good time in Baltimore. And as my partner said, the field this year is, you know, we had that long shot, improbable Derby winner. And the last time that happened with Mind That Bird, Rachel Alexander won the Preakness. Well, Secret Oath is going to try to do it. And Dwayne Lucas going on 87 years old. I think it's just so cool. So I'm glad you're going to go up there. It's going to be a throwdown.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So good luck with all your selections today, and we'll be back here just a couple of moments with the first race.
The Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance is really the vehicle for the transition for our racehorses coming off the track into a second career and safe environment for these horses when they're done racing. I've been passionate about racehorses my whole life, animals in general, and without the TAA to provide that oversight, there would be a big void in terms of making sure that we have this ongoing safe environment for our off-the-track racehorses. I'm excited about the undertaking and excited about working with our board and our team at the TAA to continue the wonderful progress that has been made. So I'm very excited about what the future holds.